Well, good morning. Welcome to Integrative Preparedness. I'm Steve Smith. I was out watering the garden. It's still a little bit early. It's warming up today. I was out watering the garden, which I have to do 2 or 3 times a day now. And as I was going through my list of things to do, I ticked them off, the things that I want to double check on. And I thought, these are things that everybody should do, and regardless of what level of preparation you're at, we have some really interesting times coming up. I think we have some challenging times coming our way in the next few months, and who knows, maybe beyond that. We don't know. Every day we turn around and we see something new, and it's kind of, we say, well, we're glad we're prepared, but are we short on anything? And exactly what are we going to have to deal with, right? We're coming into, we've gone through, shortages in the grocery store and everything like that. We've gone through the peak price, hopefully the peak prices in gas and diesel, but maybe not. What if they keep on going up? Anyway, as I was watering the garden for the first watering of the day, I think there's probably going to be 3 waterings today, and I put something up over on Patreon about that. I was thinking about the things that I would suggest everybody do right now. Now, I've never done one of these. The 5 things you got to do, the 5 guns you got to have, and actually it's 6 guns. And I've been thinking about doing that, but I'm probably going to do that one just over on Patreon, because I only talk about gun stuff over there for the most part. But as I was thinking these things, I thought about the things that I'm going to do, and so I wanted to pass them on, because these are the things that I think everybody should do. Before we get into to the message more today, I want to let you know about today's, regardless of what you see at the beginning of the and during the video, today's sponsor, as always, is the Stonemont series. The Stonemont series, my series of books, in which I detail pretty much everything you could possibly want to know about preparedness, about survival, about how to deal with problem people, building community, all of those things. I go into such detail in here that I don't think that there's ever been a question that I've gotten that I couldn't go, and maybe I should do that. Some people have said, why don't you start reading some of the excerpts from your books on here as a way to explain some of the things you're talking about. I think that's probably a good idea. Until I do that, these are available to you on Amazon in either paperback, trade paperback, or Kindle. And somebody suggested that I also add, and I never had before, that it's available for those who have a subscription, a Kindle Unlimited membership over there on Amazon. You read them for free. And there's also a way to get autographed copies from me, and all of that information is down here in the information section. There's a little arrow, a little drop-down menu that you can just drop down, or it has all the links to, first off, the Patreon page, and then how to get the books. And I've taken to pinning a comment with all that information too, because a lot of people weren't seeing that. I think that's it. Oh yeah, the Audible solution, I'll be announcing that within the next couple of weeks, and thank you all for asking me about it. One last thing before we get into what you need to do, and how many are there? Let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are 7 things you need to be doing right now. If I was better at this, if I was like, I would have started it with, there's 7 things you need to do right now. One more thing, I put up something over on Patreon that it's about conspiracy. It's about conspiracy, what's going on right now. I don't put that over here for the most part. I may put this one over on YouTube, bring it over on YouTube later, but I may not, and I'm not sure. Not sure about this, but it has to do with something's going on right now that that I wanted everybody's opinion on it. And like I told the people over on Patreon, the reason I put it up over there first is because they're kind of the front row of the class. It doesn't mean that they're smarter than the people who aren't over there, but you know, most of the people over there will tell you that it's a whole different atmosphere on Patreon as far as depth of knowledge, depth of comment. It's a good community, and I'm not at all diminishing the people who are only on YouTube and aren't on Patreon. I'm simply asking, why aren't you? Because you'd add so much to it, and you'd get so much more from it because there's so much more over there. Okay, as I was out there watering the garden, I thought, what are the things that I want to just kind of give myself an overview and tighten up, make sure I'm tight on. So I wrote it on an envelope, on the back of an envelope that from one of our viewers who ordered a set of books. The first thing you want to do, because I think these things are the very top important things because of what I see possibly coming down the road here in the next few months. Water. Store more water. However you want to do it, whether it's in 2 liters, wash them out, stick them in there, put them out in your garage, put them in your basement, you know, put them in some cool place. Don't use milk jugs. They're just not designed for it, and they will leach. But 2-liter bottles and juice bottles are excellent. Besides that, they're easy to carry in case you need to go boogaloo somewhere else. Larger items, I'm filling up additional 55-gallon drums, and I won't say what I have, but I have some already, but I'm doing more. Okay. In addition to storing water, having it available. I know for people who live in apartments, you can't really do this, but the 2 liters are the best way to do it. The more ability you have to store water, store every drop you can. We don't know what might happen in the near future or the far future, but near future being our immediate concern. What might happen to compromise our supply of water. Okay. In addition to storing, have the ability to filter water. So important. I mean, that is one of the basic things. When somebody comes to me and says, I want to become better prepared, what's the first thing I do? The first thing I tell them, water. For your home, get a Berkey filter. We have used nothing. We have not drunk any water out of a tap. I don't know, for a long time, 10 years more, maybe. Anyway, everything through a Berkey filter. You can find them at berkeyfilters.com, I believe. Just Google it. They are the gold standard of water filtration and purification. They even filter out viruses. You know, when I first started recommending this to people, I would say that, and we'd all laugh and say, "Why would you need to filter out viruses?" Well, I guess we know now, don't we? Have that for your home. We have that for our home. For away from home, if you can't afford a Berkey filter, they're pricey. They're several $100s, but they're gravity fed. They don't run off electricity. If you're not familiar with them, they're very nice. They sit on your kitchen counter, stainless steel, them, you know, to look nice there. You just pour. You can pour ditch water in that thing, you know, but we don't. We don't go down to the ditch. We take it out of our tap and then we pour in. But you could pour ditch water in, and it'll come out pure and ready to drink. So that's for your home. But if you can't afford that, then go to Sawyer. Sawyer, I recommend. And for everybody who already has a Berkey, then for every vehicle or every bag or as a backup or whatever, I do recommend Sawyer filters. I have a Sawyer Mini in every bag that we have, and Sawyer also has larger units that they can that can serve a family size or whatever like that. I prefer them much more over life straw for a number of reasons. I won't get into that right now, but it has to do with how many gallons they're rated for and all that. And in many cases, they're just as cheap, sometimes cheaper, than the life straw. And you can get them, you know, Walmart, Amazon, Academy, anywhere. So that's your first thing, water. The next thing, stock more food. If you don't, you might have heard me the other day when I was talking about food that I recommend 7 years of stored food. And I do. Stored food has one purpose, and that is to provide you, to keep you alive until you can produce all of your own food. Now, is that necessarily going to happen? No, it's not necessarily going to happen. We might not have an EMP or a CME in the next, you know, year or whatever. Scientists tell us we're going to have one eventually. That's assured, and that's what these books are about. But maybe that's not our immediate concern. Okay, but what is our concern is availability and cost of food. So if you already have a good stockpile of food, add to it. You know, there's still sales out there. I mean, I look at, I check every week at the local grocery stores on their websites, and everybody's still having sales. They may not have sales on everything, but they never did. See what's on sale, buy some. You know, 5 jars of peanut butter at 99 cents a piece is only $5, and you'll be surprised how much nutrition that can provide you for, you know, X amount of time. But, you know, I'm not suggesting you live on peanut butter. Stock a well-balanced pantry and beyond the pantry. Along with that, garden. If you already garden, put in a second garden. I'm putting in a second garden. Here in our area, we have a long enough growing season now that I'm going to be putting in a second level. It's not the fall garden. I know what's going in the fall garden. It's not going in until September, maybe late August. But right now, you still have time to put in a second round of summer garden. Do it. If you don't garden yet, go get a pot somewhere and plant a seed in it just to get your head started. And no, if you grow a pepper or a tomato, it's not going to feed you, but you need to be mentally attuned. You need to get on that road to understanding how to produce your own food. Is that going to help you in the next several months? No, it's not going to help you in the next several months if you haven't already started it. But you know, just because you may need help in the next several months doesn't mean you're not going to also need help 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now, 5 years from now, or that it's going to add to the quality of your life. Gardening has a steep learning curve. The sooner you start, the sooner you'll be able to kind of know what you're doing. And I don't know that anybody ever gets to the point to where they stop learning about gardening. Power sources. I just got another generator. Do I already have a generator? Of course. Okay. Are we assured that the power is going to come to our homes uninterrupted? No, we're not. How about those rolling blackouts that they're looking forward to in Texas? This has been a brutal summer already. And whether it's the result of you know, natural causes, or whether nefarious people see an opportunity to do some dastardly deed under the cover of that, and decide that well, we think the electricity should go down for a day or two. You never know. These are the things that are beyond your control. And one of the things that I talk about, the whole concept of integrative preparedness, is being able to live well, separate from all of those interconnected and interdependent systems over which you have little or no control. Okay, so right now you get your electricity from the power company. where I am, it's not that expensive. It's not that bad. Even I running my air conditioning all the time. But hey, you know, life can be a real challenge if you don't have electricity all of a sudden, and just a couple of generators, or you know, or one's better than nothing, right? Two's better than one, three's better. Well, we in addition, I've just I'm gonna go over and get it today or tomorrow. Just bought an additional generator, a dual fuel, so that it's gasoline or propane. In addition to that, stock fuel. Now I know, you know, gas and diesel have been going up a lot, and when the price is high, it's not really the time to stock. Everybody who is stocking fuel at $1.79 is pretty happy right now. And you know, fuel will last longer than a lot of people will tell you. There's ways to stabilize it, and even fuel that is starting to come off of its peak beats no fuel at all. Okay, but even though the prices are high now, I've seen around here that it's starting to come down. That doesn't mean it's going to keep coming down. Who knows? But as we get closer to the election, you know how they have a tendency to try to make everything a little bit better before the election. Stock whatever fuel, keep your tanks full. You know, if you're ever below 3/4 of a tank of gas at the end of a day, you need to go fill it up, or shame on you. I have kind of a rule that I top off every day. Why not, right? So stock, keep your fuel tanks topped off, and store it at home. Make sure that whatever cans you've got are full. If you got a couple of empties, you better run them down there and fill them up, and that goes with propane as well. If you've got I do have a propane tank that I'm taking down today to refill. An empty fuel can or propane tank does you no good at all. Keep them full, and if you can afford it, add a couple. Guns and ammo. And I don't talk a lot about guns and ammo on YouTube. I'll simply say it here. I'm not going to get into detail. If you don't have one or any, oh, why not? Shame on you. Educate yourself a little bit and understand that this is probably a very good time. The prices have come down. They are available again. Right now we're talking about, you know, they are available. Now the prices are higher than they were 3, 4, 5 years ago when I was telling everybody to buy them, but they're available now. And so, you know, you're going to pay that extra $100 for not doing it when you should have, right? But do it. It's better than not doing it. You'll have it. Ammo availability is a lot better now, and some of it's not back to where it was, you know, a couple 3 years ago at all by any means, but it's coming down. And as most of you know, I shoot mainly 40 and 45, and to be honest, the range that I frequent, I don't go shoot a lot, but you know, occasionally I'll take my son over or some, and their prices are pretty decent in those calibers. So, you know, look around and you know, pick up an extra box or two. Just, you know, whatever makes you comfortable. Finally, add an extra income. Sorry, I just kicked that. I straightened my leg out and I didn't realize that the wire was down there. So I'm sorry if I dropped you. Hope I didn't hurt you. Add an income stream. We know that we're in for challenges coming up. Did I just do that? Did I do that? We know we're coming in for some challenges. A lot of people lost their jobs and have found that they've been able to be creative and provide themselves alternative ways to make a living. If you have done that, I would suggest that you think about even something else. It's the old eggs in one basket situation. Never rely on one source for anything. Okay? Except God and your wife and your husband and your kids and stuff like that, right? But don't rely on any source. You know, I'll take it back to when Kelly and I were confronted with that situation at the hospital where we worked, and they said, you got to take that poke or you're going to lose your jobs. And you know what? They were surprised to learn that they were not our only or even our major income source. And so when we just said, nah, y'all can, you know, take a jump, folks, well, they couldn't believe it. But, you know, it gave us the freedom to do that. And that is freedom. You know, economic stability, financial strength, personal financial strength is freedom. You know, they say money doesn't buy happiness or can't buy happiness. Well, it buys freedom. It buys freedom from, you know, the dictates of others, and that can make you happy. Whatever it is, you know, if you already have a job, find something. If you don't, if you're looking for something, get a job. The jobs are shriveling up. The day when, you know, everybody was begging for people to work, there's still jobs out there, but it's coming. It's tightening. The job market is tightening for a whole bunch of different reasons that I'm not going to get into. But whatever it is, add a way to make money. It could be a hobby that you have. It could be, gosh, you know, we have just a lot of small things going on that, well, I won't get into that. We're talking about you, not me. So whatever it is, if you got a lawnmower, well, it hasn't been raining, so not too many people need their lawns mowed. But one of our nephews started a lawn care company, and he's busy all the time. He just started this year, and he can't keep up with all the business. And pretty soon the leaves are going to fall, and you would be surprised how many people out there need somebody to come, you know, take their leaves away. It doesn't have to be that. You have to be the one who has the creativity, the mindset of saying, how can I make money? And you have to add another stream. You know what makes a big river? A whole lot of little streams coming into it, right? You need to establish those streams, because the more streams you have, the bigger river you have, the more freedom you have bought for yourself, the more stability, the more financial stability, the more emotional stability, okay, and the more prepared you can be. So those are the 7 things. Water, stock more food. So back to water. Water, store it, and get a way to purify it. And I don't mean one of those Brita put in your refrigerator things. Stock more food. Grow your garden. Increase your garden or start one. Increase your power sources. If you don't have a generator, get one. If you've got one, get another one. If you don't have one that's dual use, get one that's dual use, because you don't know, you know, whether you might want or need to run it off of gasoline or propane. If you don't have solar, now's a good time to get you a small set and start playing around with it. Stock fuel for your vehicles and your generators. You're the way to protect yourself. Guns and ammo. You don't have to become consumed with that kind of stuff. You do need a way to protect yourself, to defend yourself if it comes down to that. Have a gun, have some ammo for it. And did I already say garden? Because I mixed these up. Yeah, I think I did. And add an additional income stream. Okay, I think that does it for today. I'm going to go in and make myself breakfast. So I'm going to make an omelet with tomatoes and potatoes and onions out of the garden. And I tell you, there is something special when you can do that, right? So you all have a good day. Do these things. Remember our sponsors. Again, the Stonemont series. If you haven't read it, you'll like it. You'll love it. And tighten up with your friends and family too. Communications is something that, you know, if I was going to make it a list of 8, that would be it. Tighten up your communications. Stay in touch with those who are part of your circle. And be aware of what's going on around you in the world. Because it's always better to know kind of what's headed your way before it gets there, right? Okay, I'm going to go make breakfast. Remember, we prepare well today in order to live well tomorrow. So go out there, think about these things, prepare well, and you'll live well tomorrow. And I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye-bye.